How can event creators, entrepreneurs, and speakers create irresistible virtual events that won't leave your attendees feeling zoomed out? Serving a massive online audience and hosting virtual events that leave everyone talking about it for weeks is what we'll be diving into during this short value-packed video. And some cool stuff you'll learn in this video are what video game streamers have to teach us about keeping audience attention, the ideal length of a virtual event, and why content isn't as important as you think. Can you see my screen? Let's log on. Everyone in the world, now more than ever, are shining up their ties, firing up their webcams, and learning how to make great eye contact with their cameras. Over the past few months, I've received more invitations to speak at or attend virtual conferences and summits than I received chain mail back in the AOL days. Okay, maybe that's not a thing anymore. This means I've spent a lot of time logging on and then very quickly logging right back off of boring webinars. And since I'm also an event creator, I thought to myself, there must be a better way. I did some research and found a recent survey conducted by a major conference host of 120 virtual event attendees. They took the insights from their audience that attends their multi-million-dollar annual conference to see what online events made them excited and which parts left more to be desired. The survey questions asked, thinking about virtual events you've attended recently, which of the following has been the most important to you? A, content, quality of educational material. B, community and something like intentional networking. C, productivity, production quality, sound, lights, and camera. And D, fun activities like parties, DJs, and music. So to talk a little bit about each of those, we've got some points that were made that really have revolutionized how I think of virtual events. The first one is around content or the quality of the educational material. And content is so much less important than normal because an online summit, just because it's online and just because you're creating content doesn't mean they can't find this information elsewhere. Look, for example, on this YouTube video you're watching right now, or this video, wherever it might be. You can get information from a book, you can watch a video. And so just creating good content is not enough to keep your participants happy and also to keep them engaged throughout the whole duration of what you're trying to put on as a production. It's much more important to deliver value in a presentation and not go straight to a pitch like a lot of some may do when they're at a live event. When you're live, the doors are locked and they can't get away. When you're hosting a session online, it's only a click of a button. They're less likely to stay when there's just one browser tab away from just logging off of everything you have to say. And the most cutting edge virtual events will future-proof them with things like AI translation, captioning for hard hearing, and the ability to translate to international audiences or people who may be viewing with no audio. One thing is a trend online is with Facebook and all of these other platforms is that not everyone is always viewing with an audio feed on. Survey respondents said that they've enjoyed the 15 or 20 minute sessions that they've seen instead of these hour-long sessions that they typically find on a live event. Another survey respondent said that we've all been conditioned to really value content for reasons that are legitimate, but to require an event in order to give and receive that content reminds me of Henry Ford. If I would have had to ask the customers what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. The majority of possible event attendees are still yet to know what a car is if they haven't been to a learning experience where community and connection are designed as a way to amplify the content. And that's something that you can do as well. A leader in the online marketing space, Brian Harris, says, if you want to make your content better than anyone else, you need to give specific examples of how to make it better. When it comes to community or intentional networking, it's important that people feel like they're a part of like-minded people. However, some online communities for virtual events can come across as overwhelming for some people if they're busy. So in ways that these groups can help us out, Facebook groups can also hinder community because it takes time to invest in. So thinking about ways to make our online events palatable for someone who might not have a lot of time to spend there, a respondent said, in a sea of sameness, the key is doing things differently, especially in virtual environments. Some ideas to do this are creating Slack groups, creating smaller interest groups, and breakout sessions. Because there's no MC portion with your live events, filling that with opportunities to let your attendees of your virtual events connect with each other around specific conversation topics or other things that they can do in order to meet one another. Virtual live networking. If they don't do it live with you, it's not likely they're going to do it when they log off. So make sure that when you're designing the connection portion of your live event, that this is also a consideration. When it comes to production quality, the sound, lights, and camera, there's an event that I saw recently from an amazing speaker coach called Pete Vargas, and it has he had a virtual stage with multiple cameras. So imagine this space that I have now all set up so you can see me from multiple angles with live video splitters with the screen of all the participants from a wide angle camera to show and emulate the audience. It's hugely important online to make it seem like you're at a live event. And it's also important to do things like I'm doing now, and is one of the reasons we're working on building this channel. A question you might have is, how do I reach my audience? The delivery of your event can also be through Facebook Live. Reach people where they are. You can also give them access in a Facebook group where you charge them tickets or approve them in before they go to that. Using breakout rooms in Zoom, for example. Zoom has an excellent feature of being able to put your participants in a smaller group and then being able to allow them to communicate with one another, and has been very successful for everything we've tested. And any event that has an opportunity for you to connect with someone and it's that genuine is incredible. I think being a good presenter is even more important online. It's much easier to move on to something else or get distracted. So cutting out the fat in all of your videos, making sure to work from some kind of outline before you actually get it together is something that's going to really help your participants see the value in listening to you. And by condensing it down, it shows that you respect their time. Adding in music between transitions. This is a production tip. Look at Twitch, YouTube, Facebook streamers for ideas here. Lots of gamers. I wasn't familiar with this before, but if you watch some of their feeds, the gamers have mastered how to keep their audiences engaged without looking away. For example, while they take a bathroom break, they pump dance music and cat videos to change up the energy and also charge you up and keep the pace. In a production, audio is more important than video, and ensure that you have some kind of redundancy for backup audio. And for example, on Zoom, I make sure that we are dialing into a phone if necessary, and that if you have speakers, that they've tested their audio and equipment days before the event, not the day of the event, but give them an opportunity to hone that sound and make sure that everything you do sounds professional in order to stand out from other people who may be throwing events similarly to you. And finally, for fun activities like parties, DJ, and music, more events virtually are implementing these ideas like dance breaks, movement breaks, DJs. You could have a performer come in, or a spoken word artist, a painter for intermissions, a singer or comedian. These are great ideas for ways to spice up your event that you'll see done at a lot of live events, but you don't really think about putting it onto a virtual stage. A lot of people invest their time in getting 500 speakers for your marketing conference, and then you don't really think about, well, what is it going to be like to watch 500 speakers, for example? What they really want is a well-curated experience and something that's a little tighter and well thought out. A participant shared that we did one event where we sent a pre-swag box that included a resistant band, and at every 10 a.m. break during the 3-day event, we had yoga instructors lead a 5-minute stretch break. We also did an event with a virtual DJ piping in DJ sets at the beginning and end of the event and during breaks. We also did an event with a live concert by a musical guest playing multiple instruments during the concert. So this gives you many ideas of how you can spice it up and also get people raving about your event after it's done. Providing interactivity, polls, annotating, whiteboarding, muraling, or even an old-fashioned thumbs up to the camera, make sure that you're pausing to involve your participants and get feedback along the way. The speaking industry has been hit extraordinarily hard, and there's something great to come out of that. An opportunity for all of us speakers and attendees to learn how to thrive in a virtual event environment. So we as speakers need to stop Zooming our participants to death, try hosting more of our own micro events, and use some of the tips from this video to create a better online experience for everyone. I'd love to hear more about what things you loved about virtual events that might help someone else in the comments below.